Jesus Christ, that's the unmute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jakeson Streaming Emporium. It is I, Jakeson from Jakeson.com. We have done a rebrand. That's how it goes. So today we are going to be looking at this Monday's Strife tournament. Because it was excellent. I did commentary on it, then passed out and woke up to saw a Citizen win. So I woke up with a big smile and realized I needed to take a look at this. And I didn't want to do that alone, so I brought along a lovely partner with me. Hello, Laura. Who are you?
Hello, how are you doing? So, this is LauraLuna, content creator and commentator specializing in Guilty Gear and Mortal Kombat. And I'm here today because I want to specialize a little bit more in a technical part and to improve myself so I can provide you with more quality commentary. You know, when you play a role-playing game, you get skills, specializations like being a rogue, improving your stealth part, and so on. So let's improve our technical part here. And here, Jakes is going to teach me some stuff. And by analyzing this tournament that was on Monday.
Yeah, so I love the way you said that because the thing is that is kind of how I view it as well. There are so many parts to doing this whole commentary thing, right? And at some point you kind of need to try some stuff out. Like I have very much been working on my introductions and stuff because that is the part I was lacking on. Because I have always approached games with a very technical, like I have always been a wizard, you know. I have always approached it with a very okay, this happens, then this happens type of mentality. So, and I have always been a teacher, so I am glad to have someone here. So, we're gonna start here by looking at this top 8. So this is the bracket I woke up to on Monday, and so if you haven't been around here on Strive a lot, EX Citizen has been playing a bunch. He has, I just bring up my spreadsheet here. He has gotten a lot of finishes in the top 8, I think. Yeah, he has the most 5th place and 3rd place finishes. And like 1/8 place, that is 7 top 8 placements. And then he got the first win yesterday. And he has always been around. And at the start, a lot of what held him back was that he played very, very risky. Rectu called him a very stylish player on Monday, and I think I very much agree with that. So I was incredibly happy to see how he has adjusted his playstyle over the last couple of weeks and got in. And then there's another new name here I was introduced to recently, Bootfelish, who we haven't seen in SaltyEU a lot before. And then, you know, there's the regulars, Apopino, Francesco, Uriel Legion. We have Pinhead, another great Axel. Sechi, a Sato I haven't seen before. And we sadly don't get these matches on the stream. We were very sad about that. We were screaming Smoip a lot. So what essentially we are going to do is that we are going to fire up this bracket, have a look at the things, and look at these matches. So we have the first one here, which is Apopino versus Francesco. And if I remember correctly, yeah, Apopino takes this one 3-1, which is very... So, in my head, right, the Potemkin-Nagoriyuki matchup is decently Nagoriyuki focused, right? Just due to Nago having those long-ass buttons, right? He has the 5H and the 2H that just fill so much space that Potemkin has to struggle to get in with, right?
I see. No, I had a problem because I was watching the screen a little bit blurry, but now it's okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah, lovely. So I'm actually gonna set the speed down just a tad. That usually helps, especially Guilty Gear is a fast game, and a lot of stuff is often going on. So I'm going to assume here that this is going to be a matchup of Apopino kind of struggling to get in, but when Apopino gets in, Francesco can't really escape, right?
Okay, so
Oh,
we started with a grab.
yeah, immediate. So yeah, that 6P can now be special cancelled into his anti-air grab, the heat knuckle, which, yeah. So like Guilty Gear is in a very unique situation in that at round start you can immediately touch each other, right?
Yeah. And here, Francesco has changed.
Yeah,
Sorry, chain. Roman cancel with the dust, so
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
can make the combo larger, right?
What? Yeah, exactly. So what the? This round was one hell of a thing. So yeah, we get round start immediate 6p here from Apopino, right?
Hmm.
Because yeah, we immediate like anti-air button here. I assume countered a kick or something, and yeah, grab. So I assumed that Apopino would actually get on top here, but Francesco won this situation with just 5p. And yeah, going in. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's just like using corner pressure here, putting it in. Yeah, gets the counter hit Beyblade. Oh my.
Nice.
And so this is a thing both Francesco and Uriel Legion does a lot, where they do these very big strings of Nagoriyuki pressure and uses his like specials a lot, and then deliberately move closer so that they pop on the opponent and get put in a like decently neutral situation. Because you see, Nago here recovers a bit faster than Potemkin,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
This is a dust
yeah,
combined with the that red Roman cancel.
yeah. So the reason for that Roman cancel is, so yeah, we're going up here, and he goes for the overhead that's blocked, and then lanes. And one would usually assume the low after that, but he went into the charge dust, and yeah, that is somehow not a kill, because Potemkin health. Yeah.
And this was a cross up, right? Because he changed
No,
position. I know the
no,
the
not even. That's just what
because
essentially.
yeah,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. So
He
after
fell
charge
naturally
dust.
here after the dust.
Yeah. So you can delay this follow up now, so that the opponent has time to act. Usually like referred to as a frame trap, right? Where you give your opponent time to stop blocking, and it's the same thing that happens here. Because I assume Francesco saw the follow up to the DP motion thing from Nago, and so, oh, okay, you are done with your stuff. I can now act. He definitely couldn't. And because yeah, one of the big things with Nago in this game is that he can cancel his special moves into each other, right? Which no other character really can do. So usually with other characters, you're like, oh, they used a special move to finish. That is like they are now at disadvantage, and I can do something about that. Where with Nagoriyuki, you kind of have to guess or look at his blood gauge to see if they can.
I see.
Yeah, it's something you have to get used to, especially when you actually play Nagoriyuki. Like a lot of stuff goes on very quickly. Okay, yeah, he gets the counter hit, Potbuster.
This is a command grab,
Yeah,
right?
yep, that is
And
the
this
command grab.
and double command grab here.
Yeah,
It's a very fast way to win a round because this command grab drains a lot of health bar, right?
yeah, yeah. So the like Potemkin is right in the grappler archetype, and the big thing with Potemkin is that in order to avoid getting grabbed, you either need to backdash or jump, right? So you are in the air. Because if you're just blocking, you will get grabbed, right? And you can't
Ah,
throw tag it. Yeah. So, but if you jump or backdash, he has long range normals that can counter that. So it's like, have a look here. So we see, yeah, we get a counter hit, we go in. So here he actually gets a stun because he got the counter hit where you need to mash that button to get out, and that's just a guaranteed command grab. He also does what's like called a Kara Potemkin Buster, which is a technique that allows him to get further range on it. And yeah, here that was just Apopeno waking up with Francesco waking up with the wrong option. Assumed that Apopeno would hit, but he went for the grab instead. Like, Potemkin is very much a mix-up monster, but the mix is strike throw. So yeah, we just see him walking in very slowly here.
Yeah. Both there very slowly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Nagoriyuki doesn't have dash, but
Mm.
he has a very long sword to compensate
Yeah.
with a very wide range.
Yeah, so actually neither of them have dashes. Only they only have
Yeah.
back dashes. And we actually see both of their like Nago has the like fancy command dash, but Potemkin has that move here, the Mega Fist that jumps forward and attacks in the air. But he also has the Hammerfall here, which is a charged attack where he moves forward on the screen. We'll see it here. No, bad memory. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so here we see it.
yeah, Francesco with a punch there, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So essentially, here we see Apopeno
for,
just like waiting
hmm.
and like trying to find an opportunity. And here they are far from each other. He tries to get in here. And then they both move backwards and then do the approach option. So we have Apopeno using the Hammerfall from Potemkin, which is the sliding move that has armor. So you actually need to hit him twice to stop it. And Francesco uses the Beyblade, which is very strong, but it only hits once, which is why Apopeno wins out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, they are both characters in the archetype of, like, very slow but high damage. So, they have movement, but it is risky, right? You can, like, punish Nagoriyuki for using Beyblade or for dashing forward. And the same with Potemkin's hammer folder.
And he whiff again.
Yeah.
And he got that jump.
Like, what's really weird here is that usually when Nagoriyuki whiffs that 2H, right, people can just dash in and whiff punish it. But because Potemkin doesn't have the like movement to do that, Francesco is essentially safe to do that, right?
Yeah. It could be also bait.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think that was just Francesco like putting something out to like, you can't really punish this. I am essentially very safe here. Like, what you have to remember is that Nago's sword doesn't have a hurt box on it, right? So you can't even like hit the sword and deal damage to it, which you usually can with like other long normals, like Potemkin's long normals you can actually hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, but what's interesting here is that we're gonna see Apopeno go 3-0. So we saw Francesco like use that range from the sword to bully Apopeno a bit. Okay, slide head. There we see the approach option again. Okay, see, yeah. Apopeno saw the like dash forward from Francesco and managed to punish it with a quick button. Burst.
And
yeah.
burst.
Yeah.
And Roman cancel. Red Roman cancel.
Yeah. He actually went for a very interesting variation there. Because usually you would cancel it before you get the hit and then go for the grab. But he went for the hit and then went for a dust, which is very unexpected. Okay, yeah. We can whiff punish that with the Mega Fist. And the Potemkin Buster. Yeah.
And command grab. Then I thought that command grab will won the round.
Yeah, I thought
it drained. I thought it drained more health or.
Yeah, it usually does, but the thing is, so the way health works in this game is that everyone has 420 health, but people have different defensive modifiers, and Potemkin and Nagoriyuki are the two with the like most effective health, where they have the best defensive modifiers. And then there's another system called Guts that prevents as your HP gets lower, you take less damage. And then they have a Guts value that depends how high that scaling is. For example, Sato has no Guts, so if he is at 10% or 100%, he takes the same damage. But Nagoriyuki takes like a good like 50% less when he is at a lower health value. So that is why.
I see.
Yeah. So often when the opponent is at lower health, people will use combos with more individual hits
Yeah,
rather
when
than
they have lower health, they use combos with single combos because they
yeah,
don't want to risk too much.
exactly. So here what we see is that Apopeno gets a knockdown, right? Puts him in the Potemkin mix, right? Am I going to Potemkin buster you or am I gonna hit you? We see Francesco. Yeah, no, we see it here, yes. Francesco backdashes. You get strong. It was a dust. And here's the punish. So that is the thing that is so scary about fighting Potemkins, right?
And one
Oh,
comes up.
so Apopeno did the like standard Potemkin thing here, where he uses the dashing move Hammerfall forward, and then PRCs and is about to grab. But I assume he in this slowdown sees that the burst is happening, and jumps up and blocks and then grabs. Doesn't kill though.
Yeah, only one chip.
He's at very low health, but Apopeno is like here just playing very conservatively. Sees the dash forward, slap. So like I think what we are slowly seeing is that Apopeno has been. So yeah, this is important when you fight Potemkin. At round start, you are in range of a Kara Potemkin Buster, which is the Potemkin Buster that he has a like shoulder charge move that moves forward, but you can kind of cancel that into the grab so you move forward. And yes, so you can Potemkin Buster round start. Huh. He's just waiting here for like Francesco to do something, I think. That, yeah. Yeah, sees the whiff 2H, jumps over. Yeah, Pupueno's just waiting for some sort of mistake here from Francesco he can punish. Yep. He has been consistently challenging the Fucio's forward from Francesco. So that is. Nago doesn't really have a regular forward dash. Instead, he has a move that is quarter circle forward or back, and then kick. That is his special like teleport dash. So what Nago usually can do is that he can like do a hit and then teleport backwards and then go for a hit and punish you if you were trying to hit. But if he does a block string and then teleports forward, he can just do another block string. So if you don't interrupt the teleport forwards, he's just gonna keep getting you in a block string until you stop blocking at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just seen Apopeno. There's the moves forward, we're punishing them immediately. Okay, I guess the meaty.
It's blocking.
Yeah, Apopeno is just content with being patient here, I think.
Yeah. And going back. And now dashed.
Yeah. Because Apopeno was crouch blocking all the time. So, again, Nagoriyuki doesn't really have an overhead outside of his jumping attacks and dust, right? So if you just block low, most of the time you're gonna be fine. Yep. Good old 6P clash. Beyblade wins. That's fine. Oh.
And you jump to avoid him?
Yeah, so when you are stuck on the wall, you can hold down a button, and if you hold away from the wall, you will go away. And what happened there was that Francesco was a bit too slow with the button to break the wall, and Apopeno got to take away. So you need to finish your wall combos quickly, or else the opponent is gonna go do that. Okay, yeah. That's such a goddamn good move. Okay, yeah, goes over the 5H again. Like, Can we just have a fucking look at Apopenu's risk bar up here? Because that increases as you block, and then the hits afterwards won't get scaled down, so you take more damage. But Apopenu is just being like, I'm Potemkin. I have so much health, I don't really care. Like, that's actually important to do if you play a grappler, I think, is that you have to be okay taking damage sometimes. Wake up, blocking, yeah. Just you see him just blocking low because he's just blocking low and then reacting to if Francesco does something that would not hit low. Yeah, waiting. Slide head. So that forward falling move hits full screen and guard breaks you. And yeah, that's the same with punish we've seen a few times where he's baiting out those 5Hs and then sees another one go in. I feel like Apopeno kind of has kind of figured out how Francesco wants to play this matchup and has developed a counter strategy here. Okay, I'm gonna do a qualified guess here on round start. Last time we saw a 6p clash where they both 6p'd. I have a suspicion that Apopeno is going to 6p again, because Apopeno is probably suspecting that Francesco won't. I'm like completely guessing here, but I'm trying to get an argument for why I think it is. So that, to try and get in the player's mind, try and figure out, okay, what are they thinking here, right?
I see.
Yeah. So what's happening? No, the 6H. Okay. So yeah, went for a very high risk move that didn't work out, but if it had, it would have been like very powerful. And it also kind of signals to Francesco that Apopeno isn't that afraid of him.
Yeah, Francesco is doing here some mix up, right?
Well, essentially, right, what Francesco is doing, right, is he is applying pressure. Like, he is just hitting mid and low. So
mid and low, yeah.
Yeah. Gets a bite. Close slash, that hits low. What essentially Apopeno, what Francesco is doing here, is he's getting Apopeno into the corner and getting risk gauge up. Okay. After each of these hits, Francesco can dash in and try to go for the grab. So he is delaying his strikes and making Apopeno think, oh, it's now he's going to go in for another of those bites, right? So that is, again, if you just sit against Nagoriyuki, hold down back and react to the jump ins and the dust, you can defend against everything. But then there comes the layer of the bite, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is just Francesco trying to like make Apopeno have to wait and be defensive because there's a big sword hit coming out at all times, right? So Apopeno needs to respect that and can't really do anything. Up, PRC to block it, yeah. And Apopeno is just trying to like move in any way he can. And there we see the bite coming, and not a big punish, but it put Francesco on the back foot so Apopeno can get a grab. And yeah, I think Francesco is just returning to the same strategy here, but we saw the ends here.
And he drum and Potemkin cut him totally.
Yeah. Yeah, use the burst, pop, okay. So essentially, like, Apopeno has won here, yeah. It's gonna drain then Potbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Aurorius, I get that. At what point? I don't have timestamps on the comments. And welcome, Prismo. We are doing some analysis here of last Monday's tournament. Yeah, so now we have Francesco in the corner. And Francesco is just trying to do kind of the same. And like getting knockdowns here. And the reason Apopeno is getting hit right is that Apopeno is trying to get some offense going. Right, he's trying to hit buttons. There we see the big reversal super. And jump in Potbuster. Oh, Gold Burst.
Oh, and Roman cancel.
Like, Apopuino had just seen that.
Double Roman cancel or?
No, so we see the Gold Burst here, right?
Okay, yeah.
So he gets meter. So he RCs into the dust here gets blocked. PRC forward in, but Apopuino is ready to hit it.
I see.
Well, yes, Aurora's. Yeah, he could have just potbusted him. But the thing is, a lot more stuff is going on than that. Yes, he whiffed that grab, but up to that point, Francesco had been going for like just putting down pressure all the time. And you don't want to make a mistake there. That is a very tense situation. Like, yeah, that is the correct play to make. But we are in a situation where there's a lot of mental stuff going on, right? And yeah, he probably could have punished that whiffed bite with a potbuster. But sometimes you don't make the optimal play. And I think it is okay there to do a more safe play, because what Apopuino really needed was a way to turn the match around. At least that is my take on it. So, man, we are gonna be looking at some sad Nagoriyukis today. We see Boot Felician here, first SaltyEU top 8, and goes up against the winner EX Citizen. So, have you seen a lot of Nagoriyuki Axel matches?
So, and matches, you mean?
Yeah, against with Nagoriyuki and Axel.
Axel. Not many.
So we're probably gonna see a stereotypical one. So again, Axel is this game's resident asshole. I play Axel, so I can say that. Axel is a big zoner. He wants to keep the opponent out and doesn't want you to get in. And the problem is Nagoriyuki doesn't have many great tools to get in, right? He has the Beyblade, or he can just like jump forwards and block. But Axel has essentially kind of the best anti-airs in the game, and he can punish you if you stay on the ground for too long.
Yeah.
So like, every one of Boot Felicia's approaches here are kind of getting punished. He got a Beyblade in, but we jump up, jump slash, punish a 5H. Axel is not a nice person to play against. Like, especially as Nago. Because Nagoriyuki's best approach is right. It is the command dash Fukyo and the Beyblade, right? And those all cost the blood gauge, which, so if you get one of those interrupted, you are kind of screwed.
So what's most dangerous with Axel is to stay on the ground, right?
Well, kind of. So if you stay on the ground, you will just get hit with the sickles and the command grab that comes from behind. But the thing is, if you are on the so you kind of need to be jumping a lot, especially as Nagoriyuki, because your walk speed forward is not great. So jumping forwards and blocking in the air is kind of your best bet. But then you also need to be sure that you are ready to block low when you land, because Axel can time the command grab and attacks to get you. And here we see, Boot Felice got in immediately at round start and is just like taking that opportunity to do as much as he can, right? Because if Nago gets in, Axel dies, right?
I see.
Yeah. So what this matchup is essentially is that Axel is a coward who does not want anyone close to him. And he assumed he could press a button there, and he could not. I like, there's a wall break, there's 60% of citizens' health, right? But what's important to see here as well is that if we look at this blood gauge, it just keeps rising here, even after the wall break. And that means that Bootfleek is now back in neutral, but he can't Beyblade in, he can't really teleport, and it keeps rising. I actually think that was a mistake from Citizen there, that he used the Renzen follow-up that actually dragged Bootfleek in, so Bootfleek was close. But yeah, that's another approach, the air BRC. But like, yeah, Bootfleek is not using any specials. He's waiting for it to drain so he can start using those moves again. Because like Axel can just keep doing this until he gets bored, right?
I see.
Yeah. And he was so close to popping there. Oh, I think that was a bad burst. That was the command grab. So, Axel's command grab is evil.
Evil.
Yeah, no, it's called Winter Mantis. And we see it here. So, we're back in neutral. And he is, like, hits him with Renzen. So, he hits him with a projectile. PRCs the projectile. Then throws out the command grab. And we will see it. I'm just going to put it on, like, very slow. We will see it approach here from the back and hit Bootfleek. And then he does a time stop combo here. And this is why we refer to him as quite stylish, because this man just does the coolest combos. So yeah, I think you kind of see what I meant with that. This is a very rough matchup for Nagoriyuki, right?
Yeah. It proves that he's not invincible.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually think that is the reason our Nagoriyukis aren't running wild here in Europe is that we have so many Axels. But actually, I wish I would get to show you a Alber or Uriel versus an Axel match, because they have played that matchup so much that they are actually quite good at doing that. Yeah, Citizen just got a dust combo for some reason.
Yeah. He did first mix up and then dust combo.
Yeah.
So like, wasn't that a little bit risky?
Yes, it is. So the thing with Axel, right, is that Axel is a very defensive character. But that is why people don't really expect him to go on the offense. So he gets a knockdown here, pulls him in, hits him on the ground, run up, just goes for the dust. That is a very risky move. But he had burst in case he like really needed to get off. But yeah, that is the kind of move you pull off to like make your opponent be like, wait. He can be aggressive, so you kind of also don't want to get in. Like, Axel is a character that very much requires on you having an understanding of how the opponent's like mental state is, right? You want your opponent to be frustrated that they can't get in. That is the like ideal mind space for Axel's opponents. Good air throw. Oh, I'm pretty sure that Citizen here faultless defense did. So yeah, we get the air throw. So yeah, use the faultless defense to... Yep. So usually, if you just do 2k and it's blocked, you can do the bite. But because Citizen spent some meter to faultless defense it, that bite whiffed. So that is a very powerful option against Nagoriyuki. I would not have noticed that if I was commentating this in real time, right?
I see.
Yeah, so that is why I go back and like get the stuff in, so I have an idea of, oh, that is a very key point, so I can look out for that in the future. Oh. So yeah, that rainwater he does here, that jump back move, essentially what he's doing here is that he's saying to him, like, I am going to run up and do something to you. Like, I am going to run up and hit you or grab you. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Right.
That's baiting.
Exactly. And he gets the counter hit here. What? Citizen, what the fuck are you doing? What the? That's mean.
Mix up with a combo against the wall.
Yeah, no, I think he just kind of went for the silliest combo he could there. Because I feel like he could have gotten more damage, but I think so. When you are playing Sonar characters, right, that want to keep people out, being a bit of a dick is a very strong tool when you can feel your opponent is frustrated. Like, genuinely, because the less calm your opponent is, the less good decisions they'll make, right? Because against an Axel, your opponent, if you fight Axel, you want to be fucking zen. You want to be like, okay, I'm gonna accept, I'm going to jump forward and get hit. That's gonna happen. I just need to keep trying.
I see. I see that Citizen has started with low hits and then jumping backwards to gain distance to start zoning.
Yeah.
And he can punish very easily every air jump.
Exactly.
And he cross up here to put him against the wall.
So actually there we saw him wait a bit, try to bait the burst. But Boot Felice was like, nah, man, I don't have any health. Why would I burst here?
That was the grab.
Yep. Command grab here again.
He had both tension bars, and he didn't use any special.
Yeah. So we saw here he waited for the burst, and Boot Felice was like, nah, not bursting. So Boot Felice gets in, and even though Citizen is in such an advantageous position, he chooses to gold burst here. Because it is just that scary to have a Nago close to you. And yeah, he has the meter. One of the great things about Axel having meter is that you can throw out risky moves like that command grab. And if Boot Felice had jumped it, he could have just PRC'd it and then anti-aired him. So it works like as a insurance policy, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this very risky thing, and you can't really punish it because I have this resource to spend and cancel it. It's like, that is very strong, and you have to be aware of that on Axel. Against Axel. Because you see the command grab and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna jump over and punish it, and then if you're unaware they have meter, then they just get an anti-air for free.
I see.
So like, this is the kind of knowledge you kind of get from watching these matchups a lot, right? Again, I have been watching Strive for like 3 months now and like commentating, right? So I have a lot of ideas on most matchups at this point. So I kind of know what I'm getting into here. And what I'm really seeing is that Boot Felice has a decent approach, but Citizen just kind of has Boot Felice figured out. Gets the time stop. Oh my god, walks in, raw bomber.
I don't usually watch that time stop.
Yeah. So that is a super move that Axel has, an overdrive. Oh no, that pop is painful. So yeah, the way the time stop works is that so he gets the command grab here. He can cancel his moves into his super time stop. So he does that, and that like gives him a purple aura. And then he does a hit, and then he activates the time stop. So you actually like need to do it twice, so that you like first activate it so you can do it, and then you do it. Cause else it would be very, very powerful. But what the time stop like really does is that it allows Axel to get a wall break essentially on a hit from full screen. So if Axel has meter, you have to be very careful around him with his combos. Because a good Axel can take a full screen hit and convert it into a lot of damage. So, we're moving into winners finals now. That was winners semis. And then we have winners finals. So, we just got Axel versus Nagoriyuki. A cursed matchup where Nago really has to struggle to get in.
Yeah.
Then we get Potemkin versus Axel, which is more of the same.
Yeah.
Right? Potemkin also has bad movement, struggles to get in.
I see. He has some heavy health bar, but he's very slow, and it's very difficult to get into Axel and avoiding his range.
Exactly.
I mean.
Exactly. Like, the thing is, if Apopoino gets in, right, and gets to get on top of Axel, there's not much, Citizen here really can do about it. Like, we see here, yep, so, thing is, that move, Hammerfall there, if you block it, you can punish it. That is very important to know. So yeah, we see the charge here, blocked by Citizen, and then punished. And now we are back at essentially full screen again, right?
Okay.
The Citizen blocked one move from the Potemkin, and now we're back in full screen. Like, this matchup is very hard to play as the Potemkin player.
They both whiff at that point. I see that Citizen is jumping around just to toy with Potemkin.
Yeah, like trying to stay around, and a big thing, so again, if you hit people while you're in the air, you get an overhit, but if he's doing it grounded, he gets low, so you actually have to make sure you don't get mixed by Axel. Luckily, Apopoino got in there, but now we're again, he uses the burst and we're back at where Axel wants to be. Yeah, get in, use meter for YRC. And we're back at Axel range. So yeah, this jumps in. Oh! that anti-us. Potemkin is so cool. Love it. And command grab. Oh, doesn't kill. Goes for the OTG. And
it was double 6p.
Yeah, I think the problem there was that Apopoino got chip damage because I think he blocked. But specials deal like damage even on block unless you faultless defense them. So we see Apopoino pull out a very interesting option here. So we see the Rensen and the explosion here. Block. He uses Potemkin's like flick move. Oh my. Apologies, I forgot to turn us back to the gameplay screen. That's me being a dum-dum. He uses like flick move to send the projectile back and actually like be able to counter some of that zoning as well, and showing that Citizen can't just keep doing that full screen projectile. Yeah. Yeah, just keeping that block string going in.
That Purple Roman Council is used for...
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I don't see much Pink Roman Council. I see the yellow one to break out from a combo, and the red one to extend the combo.
Yeah.
Without getting punished.
Purple has a bunch of uses actually. So we actually see some of its uses here. So here he cancels a move because he like, I want to use this move just for the forward momentum. Then we get in and go for a grab, right? So he uses it to get some part of the move and cancel that into another, even if it wasn't on hit. Here we see it in another way. We see it the same way, cancel it to go into a grab. And here we see that you can also... No, that not yet. Okay. Yeah, he goes in, gets the grab here. So what Apopaino did here is a mistake. Previously in the game, before the recent patch, you could do an option select which is essentially you do a thing that is one of two things and you always get the good outcome. If you try to RC a grab after it would connect, if it connected, nothing happened. But if it whiffed, you would PRC and be ready to block so you don't get punished. And Apopaino leaned on that muscle memory here and got punished for that. Because he got the hit, but PRC'd it anyway. So PRC is very useful as and some sort of insurance policy to cancel like risky things. But it's also useful to, if you want to like get some sort part of the move, but not some other part.
I see.
Yeah. It's also used in some advanced combos because, combo scaling, right? If you deal, the first hit of the combo deals 100% of the damage. The second hit only deals 90%. Then the third only deals 80 and like so on. The red RC counts as a hit in that. So it's not optimal for dealing damage. So it is actually very good to use the purple RC to continue your combos instead. But of course, you can't use that in every place. And it's often quite a bit harder. So yeah, if you see a purple Roman cancel instead of a red one in a place where you expected a red one, it's probably a person who has lapped a combo a lot and figured out a way to get it for more damage. Okay, yeah. Yep, this is just more of the cat and mouse of Citizen of Excellent Pod, right? Excellent backdash there. Because, like, Apopaino is actually very patient here. Oh no, blocks the burst. Doesn't quite get the combo. So, a lot of Excel combos are actually quite hard to do because they depend on the opponent's weight. So, Potemkin falls faster than, for example, Melia. So, you need to vary your timings on them depending on how fast the opponent falls.
I see that Citizen has a thing for that baiting we talked about before, that I'm coming forward, I may grab you, I may hit you. Now I'm jumping back.
Yeah.
Because this is very usual for Axel players.
Yeah, like one of Axel's strongest options is jumping back and then pressing the jump slash button that goes like at a slight angle down. This one, right? Because it fills out the space where the opponent would kind of move in. And especially against Potemkin, who can't really move that fast, right? It's very annoying that it's like, I want to move in, but there's a big sickle in the way. So, like, it's kind of covering his escape. So, like, if you just move backwards, right, the opponent can move forward. But if you move backwards and make sure that there is a button out that will prevent the opponent from moving forward, you actually get the distance. Citizen was very smart there to like have momentum so he wouldn't be in the air command grab range.
And I see that Potemkin is at the advance, block. It's like playing that game, that hide and seek game.
Yeah, like fucking traffic light, whatever. Not sure what it's called in English, actually. But yeah, right. It is kind of the same thing he needs to do. Because it's like, if he moves forward for a bit too long, Citizen will hit him in the face, right? Yeah. So you have to be very, very careful about it. And with other characters, right, they can run forward and then immediately follow his defense to block. But because Potemkin doesn't have a run, he can't really do that. Okay, yeah, we see more of this. Yep. Axel can punish that from full screen, because of course he can. Yeah, a lovely friend Salen just bring it up in chat. Yeah, Potemkin isn't that great in the air. Like, he can jump very high, but his movement forward isn't that good, and he doesn't like really fill it out. So he just like kind of needs. He struggles to get into that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see it here. You're noticing he's not pressing any buttons, because if he does that, he won't be able to block. And Citizen is showing, no, I'm willing to anti you. Like, you're not gonna get in for free. I am going to hit you on the way in. When Citizen has so much meter right now, he's just waiting for a clean hit. Up air throw. That's excellent. Garuda. Oh, yep, burst. Get in again. I am so impressed with Apopanu's like patience here. Like, I would be so angry in Apopanu's place. Like, you really need to have a solid mental game going on here to do this. At least the reward is some nice chunky damage. God damn. Yeah, so here we see he tried to grab, but used PRC to kind of ensure that he wouldn't get punished for it. No one expects to run up throw from Axel, right? You expect him to stay far away, so Citizen used that to get that throw. Okay, sends in. Yep, here we see the full screen combo. Jump up bomber. Bomber and break the wall. Raw bomber. Jesus Christ. Right. And that is getting hit by Axel in full screen, right? This is so risky. And yeah, that's the winner's final. So yeah, that is kind of the story of a lot of Axel's matchup, right? Is that we have someone who really needs to like get in, and it's very frustrating for the big boys to get in. Mm-hmm. It's the same with Axel versus Gold Lewis, for example. Axel versus Sato is actually also the same, because Sato doesn't really have any good full screen tools he can really fight with. Mm-hmm. I actually really love the Axel versus Sato matchup, because we have Axel trying to anti-air the Sato, who's just like flying around and moving. Yeah, fuck Mei. The Mei Axel matchup is scary. I play with Silent Chat a lot, and she has that dolphin. I have nightmares about it. And like, I think it's good that we have like very polarizing matchups like this, because I think the matches turn into very great stories, because seeing a good Nagoriyuki or Potemkin beat on Axel feels just so good. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. So, I wasn't sure what we would get of loser's side. We sadly didn't get the quarterfinals. But what we do get, so we see Bootfully beating Uriel Legion in the losers quarters final, which is an upset if I've seen one, and I should. I'm just gonna check my Discord. Is Uriel Legion online? Because if he is, I should just write him and ask if I can use that footage from his stream, because I think that would be a very interesting match to look at.
He's working at the daytime.
Oh, god damn it.
No, I'm checking. I have also. He's offline on Discord right now.
God damn it. Well,
I can ask him. Are you?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It was just I prefer not using footage if I don't have permission, because it's usually fine, but it just feels wrong, you know. But yeah, I think that is a matchup.
He'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah,
But I understand that you prefer to ask first.
exactly. But instead, we get another Nagoriyuki mirror of Butfelish versus Francesco. Oh, actually, Pinhead, with that lovely dipshit added in, is a Axel player. So Francesco actually beat him here, which I would actually have loved to see, because then you could see how Axels get beat, because that is a lot of the Nagoriyuki getting in and just killing him. Yeah, right, exactly. I agree with you, say Ellen. So, Butfelish Francesco. Nago versus Nago. So, my good friend Just Dave, he says the same thing every time he sees a mirror. It always emphasizes or underemphasizes something like about the like character. And I think in this case it very much emphasizes the use of blood gauge and making sure that you have more meter than your opponent.
I see. I thought that he was going to do some dust there.
Yeah. But no. And again, because doing the dust is surprisingly risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason you having the bigger blood gauge, right, which Butfelish has right now, is that you have one bigger normals, right, because the sword grows the more blood gauge you have, and they recover faster, right? So
What I
you're
see here is that like they were exchanging pressure chains.
yeah.
That in the previous one, but Felix was cornering Francesco, and then when he got an opening, it was like he was mirroring literally all the moves like
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, exactly. Like both of these players know how to use these characters to their like extreme, and that's the thing. Like they both know what is up, right? They know where the openings are and where they aren't. So it's very much more player versus player, compared to character versus character. And yeah, gets a low there into the 5H, and it's now 1-1. So this is probably the longest set we're gonna have to look at. Good. Moving on. I fucking love that costume in the lobby. Very, very good. Makes me giggle every time.
Me too.
I'm not entirely a fan of the lobbies, but it brings me some joy at least, so that's nice. Going in, yeah. See again, the like Nago, you cancel. It costs you something to cancel specials into specials, right? Because it gives you more blood. But I think Bootflick was like, yeah, one, it gives me another like mix up with a frame trap, but also I don't mind having more blood right now because you want that bigger range, and yeah, uses meter wants a bigger combo. Oh, excellent backdash there from Francesco. Oh my. And good grab. So, like, a thing I talk about a lot in Nagoriyuki matches, right, is that when you play Nago, you have to really consider your blood meter, right? Because, like, a big level up thing you do in fighting games is when you realize, oh, I need to make sure that when I have meter, I extend my combos with that meter, right? And I have to kind of be aware of, do I get that meter during the combo so I can do that? But Nago adds another meter you have to think about, so there's extra layers of decisions you have to consider. And I think that is something that's very hard. And now in the mirror match, you also have to keep track of your opponent's meter. So I think this is very much some sort of like mental endurance contest between the two. Because, like, again, a lot of fighting games is one, having knowledge, but also then trying to figure out what your opponent is thinking, right? Because here, Butfelish has the advantage, right? He has the bigger normals and he has meter. So he can kind of bully Francesco as it is right now. And Francesco doesn't really have an opportunity to get more blood, because if he does a special, he'll get punished.
He with that grabbing in Guilty Gear is very risky as well, unless you're a grappler like Potemkin.
Like, even for Potemkin, it is very risky, right? Because if you whiff, right, you are in counter hit state, and that means the opponent gets a very big combo on you. So, I think the best place you can be in as a grappler is to get the grab 1 or 2 times, just so the opponent knows to fear it, right? So the opponent knows that they should be very afraid of it. But you don't want to go for it all the time, because then you are going to get put in those risky situations. And like, I think a lot of what these players are doing right now is just trying to make the other person crack in some way, doing like unconventional stuff, and like trying to be very conservative, but then throwing in some risky stuff once in a while.
And this is a single combo. Single. This is what is called like bread and butter, right?
Essentially. So
that was pulling food.
Essentially, like B&B combos are like very much your like go-to stuff, and here that is essentially one of them for Nago. There was like some variation to it, but essentially Nago combos can kind of be described as, okay, we launch in some way. That can be the close slash counter hit. It can be 5D into Beyblade gets a counter hit, or something like that. And then you use the like triple fast slashes to like I can just go back and show you actually the like triple slash combination we see a lot here. It's like we see him get here, gets the Beyblade to launch, right? Then gets the DP again, dashes forward, close slash 1, 2, 3. That is essentially kind of Nagoriyuki's B&B. And B&B combos aren't like necessarily an important thing. It's more like what situations are important to learn to carry. Oh my god, that's super. Yeah, it's more like what situations are important to combo out of, right? Because you can learn combos from like jump kick, but that's not the button you're gonna hit the most on Nago, right? So you might as well focus on the usual options, at least when you start learning the character. And like the thing with B&Bs is that they are often very applicable in many situations, right? So that it's a I have made some guides for May and Axel, and in there I included B&Bs, and they were like very simple combos that you can hit from many, like a very wide amount of places, so that you can so that I can give it to a player and be like, okay, now you know one combo you can use.
Here punish Francesco, and previously Francesco didn't block much, right?
Yeah.
In the previous when Bat Felix was throwing that bread and butter, I didn't see Francesco blocking. It was like he was thinking about when I can enter, but
yeah. So a lot of that is actually Selin pointing out regarding B&Bs, they are often very expandable. So you kind of started and then read RC and then you can do more. So that is important part there. But yeah, the reason Francesco isn't blocking a lot is that Butfalik is being very patient and kind of deliberately waiting with attacks. So one of the most powerful things you can do in a fighting game is going up to the opponent and not doing anything. Because then the opponent is like, wait, why isn't he doing something? Oh, I guess I can do something. And then when the opponent tries to do something, you should have pressed a button just before that. Learning how to do that requires you to feel out your opponent and figure out their rhythm. But it's a very strong tool. So that is often when you see someone get a counter hit, that is usually because they waited a little bit for the opponent to start doing something. So yeah, we saw it there where Francesco thought he could counter, but Bouteflike went for a punish and got the counter here. Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Like getting the burst and the Bouteflike going out is very not good. Oh, well, sorry, Francesco going out is unfortunate. Oh no! That. Yeah, so usually as Nago, you just want to break the wall with 6H because it deals a lot of damage. But it was just a bit too high. No. Luckily, he managed to save himself there, but that is... Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And, like, that is the thing that just comes with character familiarity. Knowing, like, okay, how can I break the wall here? So, yeah, red RC going in. Gold burst. Okay. And lovely, yeah. Francesco got that one. So, like, what we're seeing a lot of here is them... I feel like a lot of these rounds are kind of decided in this round start. Where, like, okay, we throw out something. Bouteflike's like, okay, I kind of got pressure. I need to, like, push my advantage here. Oh my god!
There was some clash.
Yeah. Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. And yeah, that's the kill. Like we see Nagoriyuki rounds can be incredibly fast like that or incredibly slow like the one before. Oh no. So I need to go back. So here at the start of this round we see something. At least I don't think it's at the start and maybe a bit later. We see Francesco learn something, which is interesting. Yeah. We need to move it a bit further. Or do we? Yeah, that's the burst. No, clash. Or am I just completely... Yeah, I am completely wrong here. Okay. So, what I was referring to previously. So, we have seen a round start that is very similar to this one. So, here we see Francesco using the DP from Nagoriyuki. That big sword thing, and Bouteflike teleporting backwards. So, previously, we saw Francesco immediately throw out the follow-up, and Bouteflike punishing that with a Beyblade. But here, Francesco waits until the Beyblade is out to get the second hit. Yeah, and that's... A lot of Nago's thing is, are you going to strike or are you going to throw, right? Do you want to bite and get health and blood back, or do you want to go for a combo? So... Again, it is pretty easy to block against Nago, but if the opponent... For a Nago to keep their block strings going, they need to spend blood. Oh, that's the pot from Bouteflike. Like, Nagos really need to spend blood to keep their block strings going. So at some point, they're gonna need to go and try and get a bite. So you kind of have to figure out when that is, and then do something. Francesco, like, showing a very powerful thing you can do here. So, Francesco is about to die here, but gets burst back. And we see Bouteflike waiting for that burst to come out so he can punish it. Tries to launch again, just waiting. And then there's the burst. So, like, you get a lot of advantage from just not bursting sometimes if your opponent tries to bait it. And that is what won Francesco that round.
Uh-huh. We have here another bread and butter.
Yeah. This is what we call Nagoriyuki gaming, when he gets a wall break in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gets the knockdown with the 2K2D. Another time. Are we going low this time? No.
He had bubble to protect.
Yeah. So one of the reasons he does that is that Nagoriyukis usually only special moves deal chip damage, right? But Nagoriyuki's sword is so powerful that it also does that. But it also pushes Nagoriyuki out so he can't go for a bite immediately afterwards. We saw that with the Citizen versus Bootfellish earlier, I think, where we saw going in for the 2K and then whiffing the bite because Citizen had bubbled, right? So it's the same thing he's doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 2K2D takes it. And it is now 2-2, yeah. This is very, very back and forth. And wait, sorry, can I just... I don't speak Spanish, but I have a sneaky suspicion of what he's saying here. That means this is a bad matchup, right?
Now, but I think he's ironic here.
Yeah.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, is it? Of course, negative matchup.
Yeah. No, exactly. No. Of course, it's sarcastic. I saw that. Good. That's just very funny.
Yeah.
No, I love those. Like, especially in a mirror match. That's just the best.
And when he wins, he has another one saying, "Have you fun? Have you had fun?"
Oh.
And he that sentence is writing with no spaces.
That's really that's cute. I like it.
Yeah. Are you having fun? I put a Spanish joke, but it has no translation. It's called the bread, the talking bread, but it only works in Spanish because it uses a game word between the bread is talking and the bread is blunt.
Yep. No.
This is a very, very, very. This is a daddest joke you can get in Spanish.
Yeah. Lovely. No, I like having stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like, I just in the message, I just have Laureato written out because that is what Axel does in his command grab, and I just find that funny. So it's a nice way of showing personality. I don't know. I like seeing it. And yeah.
And which is the wisest use of the teleport?
Yeah. That kind of depends. So there are kind of two ways to use it. If you use it forward, you can immediately continue your pressure, but you are kind of negative. So if I'm doing a block string and then teleport forward and try and doing more, the opponent can punish that. But if I instead teleport backwards and then press a button, you will whiff and I will punish that whiff. So either you have to react to the teleport and decide, I'm going to try and punish it, or I'm going to try and punish it and know I'll get baited. So it's kind of a 50-50 whether or not you interrupt or not. So you kind of have to have a feeling, is he trying to punish here? Because if he does the backwards one and tries to whiff punish, but you weren't pressing anything, you can then punish that, right?
Mm-hmm. He was blocking. He was blocking, but he couldn't predict the low hits.
Yeah, and there we saw the 2K into the bite, but there was no FD from Francesco, and therefore it hit.
And the special.
Some good stuff. And yeah, so that is so good because it gets the wall break and you get a hard knockdown where you have more time to get over the opponent if you break with a special, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, goes in, back dashes the bite. So I think the reason that Francesco was very certain that Butvilich was going for a bite here is that one, Francesco has burst, which he's probably not using. But two, we see Bootfelish using a lot of blood. Like, that is rising so fast, right? So it feels very natural that he would want to go for the bite.
I see.
So that is where the like decision making, considering the blood meter, comes in. And yeah, Bootfelish wins by hitting and not Beyblading. Yeah. Yep. Round start.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, they both know when the Nagoriyuki is at disadvantage, right? So they're like, okay, I know I can. That 2k somehow hit. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, Redacian. Yeah, Francesco was waiting for the burst there, trying to bait it. And Bootfelish gained a lot from just not. Oh, that was not close enough. Jump in, block, scold, burst, punish. Okay.
Oh, they whiff mutually.
Yeah. Like, they are both trying to prevent the opponent from getting in. Using the BRC in the air to move in. Oh. BRC, so... A big thing why Bootfelish did this. So he got in, right? Jumps in here. So YRC. So the blue RC slows down Francesco, which means that Francesco can't really jump or do anything because he's slowed down. So Bootfelish gets this bite guaranteed. Unless he was already doing something. So he like had time to see, oh, you aren't doing anything. Good, I can bite you. And that is the set to Bootfelish. So he kind of like put him in a checkmate situation here.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So next up we have the losers finals, which is Apopainu versus Bootfelish. And we started off this stream with Francesco versus Apopainu, which I kind of suspected was a matchup where Apopainu would struggle to get in. But when he got in, he would like dominate. And what we saw was kind of Apopainu being able to navigate the round starts very well and getting in on Francesco, right? And now we are going to see Apopainu versus Bootfelish. So Apopainu, but against another Nagoriyuki. And Bootfelish is taking this. So I assume this will mean that we will see the matchup play out like I suspected, where Bootfelish will be able to keep Apopainu out. I forgot this picture. It's so good. That Ace of Spots camera was out 1 week, and he was commentating with Rectu, and Rectu is our resident paint master. So he put that together. Very, very lifelike. We are nothing if not creative here at SaltyEU.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't really get the round start there due to some sort of TO mistake, but it makes sense to me. There was an early burst from Apopainu, and yeah, Bootfelish has put Apopainu in the corner, and this is the same thing we saw, right, where Apopainu was just like willing to just block and wait it out, right?
I see. Slam.
Uses the super there to punish
the super, but
who wins here?
This is because the Nagoriyuki super goes in faster than Poteki's super, right?
No, I actually think the reason it does that is that you
can cancel a super with another super.
Well, yeah, but I think it's this is we're gonna look at some data here. So Potemkin's super, right, Gigantic. Oh god, we have now stuff added down here. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, it's only invincible for the first 10 frames. And it felt like those 10 frames had kind of, holy shit, this is very useful. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to remember that for the future. Dustloop, you're doing good work. Yeah. Whereas this one, yeah, it's both for like the first 10 frames, but we see the like Potemkin super come out, and then it stops being invincible, like around here, and then this invincible super comes out. So of course that wins. So often with supers like that, it's the one who's coming in last that wins. Or unless someone has a very long invincibility period. Okay, yeah, we're going in.
So but he grabbed him.
Yeah, man, back throws are so strong if you are in the corner, right? Because it puts you at the advantage immediately. So it's very risky to actually get in and go for a grab as the aggressor there. Oh no. So he did that Kara Potemkin Buster that moves you forward a bit, and it didn't quite work. It wasn't in range, and that let Bootfleek get it here. So yeah. Such a thing. We see more. Lovely. Okay, good. Let's go. Yep. 6p that 5k. So Nago Ryuki's 5k is a very fast button, and if he counter hits with it at round start, Nago gets a wall break combo. So it's a very strong move, and I think Apopino knew that, so was ready with the 6p to counter it. But yeah, then wasn't really able to take that advantage very far. Because Butfelix is just like making sure that Apopino has no room to breathe here.
Yeah.
Like every time,
He started to do the traffic light movement.
Yeah.
But he would cut.
Yeah,
I think the traffic light movement doesn't work too much with Nagoriyuki.
Like, I think it is fine, but the thing Bootfleek does is that he says, oh, it's green, and then immediately red. Like,
yeah,
it's not you have a bunch of time on green and then red. It's like green, red, immediately. And I think that is what is screwing Apopino here. Because again, you have to realize, oh, I have permission to walk forward. Oh, I need to stop. And Bootfleek is like riding right on the edge of that time. Because you see, he's not immediately doing the moves right after each other. He's taking small breaks to allow Apopino to be like, oh, can I do something? Oh, no, I couldn't.
Roman cancel here to keep on the combo.
Yeah, that's not good.
Break, but
yep, that Bootfleek. So yeah, Bootfleek was not in time. I think he was too busy there and didn't really keep track of the meter. I think he might also have been afraid of going in on Apopino, because he moved back and did a 2H, which is good, but going in for the bite, oh no, he wasn't high enough for that. So yeah, usually that reversal super would have done some stuff, but again, Nagoriyuki's swords, you can't hit them, so he just didn't care. Bite. Oh, Potbuster before the bite came out, and there's a dead Subutfleek. So yeah, I think this is the one game here that Apopino wins. And I think Bootfleek will realize here that, oh, I cannot let him do this. I need to get in control here.
I see.
And yeah, we go in here now. Okay. So usually I prefer having YouTube videos available for this, so I can skip like frame by frame, and I can use a thing that allows us both to start and
To
pause the video.
analyze and with a more
Yeah,
reflexive perspective. Oh,
yeah, and like
brilliant.
have more control over the video. But sadly, these videos don't go up on Twitch until like a half a year due to lazy
Oh.
TO trademark. Don't worry about it.
Here, I see that Bat Felix is doing hit, backing up,
Yeah.
hit again, going backwards,
Mm.
which is more
Yeah.
safe to avoid Potenkin's wrap.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, so he's,
More safe, no, safer. Sorry, my English.
yeah, no, more safer, potato. Like, I'm not fluent either. Like, it's fine.
Hmm.
So yeah, we see him here. Going backwards evades a grab riot, exactly like you said. So yeah, I think he has realized he's going to need to do the like hit and run thing, where he goes in, gets a hit, and then goes back. Oh, immediate follow up hits the backdash. So and yeah, Beyblade and Fukyo backwards there, yeah. Oh, tries to go in and gets hit. Okay, we get the dust, that's blocked, and there's the punish. Doing that charge dust is very risky if you don't have meter. Especially with Nagoriyuki, because like his big benefit is that he has a lot of range and big damage, but then his moves have a lot of recovery, so that he can like he has to predict what the opponent is going to do, and if he guesses wrong, he will be punished like that.
Ah, I see.
Oh no. So I think Apopenu was like, you are doing some sort of approach to start off, and went for the gold burst, and sadly that was a wrong gamble. But actually, I think that's fine currently, because we are only in the third game, and like it's only 1-1. So I don't think that is. It's not great, but I don't think it was like too risky now.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna see like another like? Because Apopenu is probably gonna have meter for a super soon, so we might like see another reversal super here. But no, yep, he's just dead. He's just like actually dead there. So how we? Because now Butfelik is only one game from winning, so I think we're gonna see actually a more aggressive Apopenu. Because he has been very conservative and it hasn't worked out, so I think he'll try and switch it up.
He was very defensive in this round. He blocked totally that bread and butter combo by Nagoriyuki.
Yeah.
And his double jump and Roman cancel.
Yeah, so that's the like insurance policy you can kind of do with the PRC, right? Where he was doing something, saw the jump in, and then NC'd.
I love that concept of insurance policy.
Yeah, no, like it's a lot of characters actually can do that in some way, right? Sato does it where he's like doing something risky but has a like Eddie move to back it up. It's a very good way of doing risky stuff but still being able to like
to recover yourself if it doesn't work.
Yep.
He was doing that jump that Ariel hit.
Yeah.
The lateral hit.
Which is very powerful, but it has a bit of startup, and Butfelik had time to just press the fast button and get it. And yeah, I think Butfelik has realized Apopenu is aggressive. Good. I answer that with more aggression, right? Because if he's aggressive, he's going to make more mistakes in his defense. Get in, get a bite. Yeah, burst. I think bursting there is very good, because when you Nagoriyukis have that bite, they can just use their special so wildly. But no, yeah. I think Bud Felix just managed this game like set very, very well. I feel like he very much did the thing I was talking about there, where he just like used the range advantage to keep Francesco, Apopano away, right? And tried to figure out his rhythm, so like stopped attacking and then waited a little bit and then went for it. So that's it for most of these matches, but we do have one set left. The grand finals. EX Citizen versus Butfelik. This is another... EX Citizen is actually our second highest ranked player in the power rankings now, I realize. That's actually cool. So we have that. It's another Axel Nagoriyuki matchup. And Laura, it is here. It is time for your final exam. How do you think this matchup is going to play out?
Final exam.
Yeah.
So Nagoriyuki will try to do the traffic light advance to Axel, and Axel will probably try to choi with Nagoriyuki getting closer, but then going backwards to doing some hits from the air, right?
Yeah, essentially, right. Nagoriyuki wants to get in, so Axel will like use his superior screen control to keep Nagoriyuki out. Like the only thing else there that you really need to keep in mind is that Nagoriyuki will need to manage his blood gauge very well, because his only real approach options are from the Fukyo and the Beyblade, right? So he needs to be very careful with that, because you want to like spam those moves to get in, but if you do that, then you pop and then Axel just kills you.
Okay, I would like to review the function of the blood box of Nagoriyuki.
Yeah.
You drain blood from your opponent and get the...
Well, so essentially, think of it less like how much blood he has and more like how much in control his vampire powers are. When he uses special moves, it kind of exhausts him and fills up the bar.
Yeah.
And that lets his vampire self take over, which makes his sword longer and makes the moves recover slowly. So there are like 3 gauges to the bar. Actually, let me just... so I can illustrate it. So there are like 3 gauges to the bar down here. And as they fill up, his swords get longer and recover faster. In order to drain that, he needs to hit with the sword and get hits, or he needs to go for the bite, drink some blood, and calm himself down. Because if he doesn't do that, if he goes wild with the special moves, he will pop and go full vampire, which will leave him in a state where his health will drain and the opponent has a chance to like get the kill.
I see.
You with?
And that's when, yeah, thank you. And that's when the Nagoriyuki's health bar goes very fast. Right?
Yeah, where it just slowly drains. Like I think it drains 50%. I actually used to play Nagoriyuki, but then I realized I'm not smart enough to keep track of the blood gauge, so I was just popping all the time. And yeah, exactly as you predicted, Citizen is on full screen. We are very happy. Bud Felix using special moves to get in. Yeah, I really like that burst from Bud Felix, because that is what would have happened if he hadn't burst. He would have used that move and thrown him back at full screen, but Bud Felix bursted, put Citizen in the corner, and got to follow up. Sadly, Citizen then got the upper hand again. But yeah, now we are in the like trouble spot here, because we have so much gauge we can't really use the approach options on Nago, and we just have to walk and jump. And this is how Axel wins this matchup. Your blood gauge is full, you can't really use any of your good options. Now let me just anti-air you or hit you out of your jumps. I really disagree with EX Citizen using, so when you use the Rens and the projectile from Axel here, you can do a few follow-ups. You can either, so I'm just like, he's sending it out here. You can either make an explosion at the end of the screen, or you can drag it upwards, which pulls the opponent closer if they are in the air, or you can do the short helicopter attack right in front of him. I think the correct decision here is to use the explosion, so that it still deals damage, and Bootflick stays far away. But Citizen, no, it's here, yeah, Citizen pulls him in, which lets Citizen get more damage and more mix, but I think that is a very risky move, because if Nagoriyuki gets close to you, Axel explodes. But Citizen is confident that that won't be a problem, so he's doing that risky thing. So yeah, here we see Bootflick blocking, sees the projectile coming out, and then immediately trying to get in with the moves. Excellent combo, doesn't get the Rensen afterwards. That is quite hard to hit, actually.
This is he's doing an interesting mix up and combining with going backwards.
Yeah, like what he's really doing here is like just poking the bear, right? Like he's just throwing some damage at him to keep him locked down and trying to frustrate him to do something risky. Because that is when Axel really like thrives, when the opponent is making mistakes. Yeah, Red RC, spend your meter. Yep, just keep going. We are fine blocking here. And now we are at the range where Axel is happy, right? And you don't have blood gauge. You jump the command grab, but not forward, so there's no reason to use meter. EX Citizen's baits are so good. I am so impressed by that. Like, running forward, and Bootflick is already ready here. Like, oh yeah, I know you run up grab a lot, so I'm gonna backdash. I don't want to get grabbed here. That will kill me. Nope, we are hitting the backdash with a fast slash. Citizen... So, Europe kind of has, like... We have multiple things here. Europe has, like, two great Axels called Barry Bones and Mystic Smash. Barry Bones is, like, the embodiment of an aggressive Axel.
Yeah.
He is willing to go in and be very YOLO, where Mystic Smash is a way more patient Axel and is, like, willing to just sit at full screen and throw out stuff. EX Citizen, what I think he does really well, is being able to switch between the two styles very fluently, right? So
I see. When I see Barry Bones playing, I got the feeling that he's doing some chaotic gameplay. But, I don't know if he does this because he's nervous or because he's trying to confuse his rival.
What are you like thinking specifically?
He's like, I had the feeling when I watch Barry Bones playing that he's doing more, not erratic, it's not the word, but more chaotic. Like
yeah. I very agree. Barry Bones is very chaotic, and I think that is a big strength of his, right? That he is very willing to do stuff you won't expect, right? And
yeah, that's what I mean.
that is kind of a big strength of his, right? Is that you don't expect seeing it. Sando, a great player who has won like 7 of the SaltyEU tournaments, when he was playing Chip, a thing me and Just Dave were talking about a lot is that he is so good at making his offense random, where it doesn't feel predictable, right? Like, for example, with Nagoriyuki's, you have the like blood gauge to tell you, oh, they are high on blood gauge, they're probably gonna go in for a bite. Where Sando, it felt genuinely random, right? Like what was gonna happen. And I think Barry Bones is trying to do the same kind of thing.
I see. I got the feeling that he was playing chaotically because he wanted to break all the predictions that the rival has.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, wants them to be like, what is going on here? Like, what in the world? So, we see a very interesting move here from Bootflick. Bootflick knows Citizen has no health back. He sees an like opening here in a little bit where we see Citizen. Okay, Red RC. Yeah, we see it. So, okay, and Renson, and you're jumping upwards, sensing the battle spirit, and is fujoing furiously under and filling up the blood gauge to get close, and then letting it pop on Citizen. Gold burst immediately, and
I see the health bar draining.
Yeah. But he's like, I only need one hit. And I really like the idea of, okay.
It was very risky because he could have his bar drain before landing his hit.
Actually, no. So the Nago popping, it only takes you down to 1 health.
Oh, you can die out of your bar. Okay.
Yeah. Lovely, TK. Thank you for rating with a homie of 6 people. We are looking at the grand finals from this Monday of Bootflick versus EX Citizen.
Thank you very much for your ride, Lauliet. He's a friend of mine and a companion in my team in Red Kings.
Lovely. Yeah, I saw the follow earlier as well. Appreciate it. Thank you for following, Gigas. We are having another Axel Bomber compared to the one happening on stream. And yeah. So like we are just kind of going in depth on this match. Counter hit. So yeah, gets the Axel Bomber into the time stop. Full screen combo, because Axel is Axel. Love that guy. Love the guy.
Yeah.
He's mean character. And that's the thing, like Bootflick really needs to be patient here. And again, if we go and have a look at this, right, they played in the first match, or like the second match we saw, where Citizen won 3-0, right? Imagining winning the losers finals and know I am going up against someone who 3-0'd me earlier, right? Like that, you really have to sit down, take a deep breath, right? Like try and get your brain under control. Because that's very frustrating, right?
When I play against Axel, it's very frustrating as well. Actually, because Axel is the natural counter to Ino.
Yeah. Very fun. But yeah, exactly, right. And you have to be very careful to navigate around his buttons, right? So that you won't get hit out of stuff. And that is... You kind of have to play a very different playstyle against an Axel compared to any other character in the game, right? And if everyone played Axel, I think I would get very bored of him. But I like seeing the playstyle once in a while. Because it's very interesting to see, especially how much patience it takes from Nagoriyuki players and Potemkin players, as we have seen. Because they really have to work to get in here. But then, of course, when they do get in, the reward is huge, right?
Yeah. It's so satisfactory.
Yeah. Like, we have seen Citizen blow up a few times here. Oh, that was not an amazing burst. Like, that's the thing. Nagoriyuki also has the thing where he has, like, these long normals, so you get hit by Nago and you're like, oh, a combo is starting. Try to burst, but he's not actually close enough. Axel has the, like, kind of same deal. Yeah, Citizen is just kind of chilling here. Yeah, like, you need to approach.
Yeah, he's very... I have all the time in the world.
Yeah. Like, there's 60 seconds left. I have plenty of time to kill you. So I've been, like, playing a lot of Multi-Blood currently, and that game, people are very willing to start timing out. And I think Citizen just being able to just chill and take this combo. Okay, going in. Red RC. You don't expect the charge dust from an Axel, right? And that is what Citizen is abusing. So, like, I think that is really what Citizen is, like, bringing to this table, is that he is here and he's willing to do unconventional stuff. Because if he was just sitting back and, like, putting out sickles and hitting people right, it would just be... it would be like decently easy for Bootfully, right? Because he wouldn't get punished that much if he made a mistake. But Citizen sees those mistakes and is willing to take combos from them. And you are now in the corner.
Oh.
Yeah. That like Fukyo forwards is easily punished by Axel, and it's a move you really have to consider whether or not it's worth it. PSN, Ho whiffs the combo, which makes him lose the burst, which is very good for Bootfully. Because, again, we have seen Bootfully get in to immediately get bursted out, and that just hurts. It's a pick up here. Yeah, this breaks the wall, I think.
It's
yeah.
very interesting to see an Axel stopping time, because I don't usually watch it in streaming, and on online, as I said.
Yeah, it's like a thing that starts on higher levels, because it requires decently hard execution, and it requires meter, and it's kind of risky. So you have to be. I am still like in the spot where I am learning how to do them consistently. So I often just stop time and then don't do anything more. But I have to learn. Oh, that whiff punish. Yeah, no, like, so we see Citizen here gets burst out, knows that he's coming in, and just like get out, and uses the 2P here to whiff punish that. So yeah, it seems like you were very right about your hypothesis from the start, right? This is a rough matchup. And like to the point where actually the player named Jester actually picked up Axel to deal with the Nagoriyuki matchup, as Nago has a good matchup against his character Milia. Yeah, we're in full screen. Oh, that drift BRC is so good. Going in, trying to wait for the burst. Okay, not coming. Get the close slash.
He used that Roman cancel, and he didn't need to, right?
Well, that depends. So he goes into the air here, right? So he's dashing forwards, going low. Okay, gets knocked back here. This is so he super jumps forward, right? And then he does a drift Roman cancel, where you input dash and then cancel. So you see him like move a slight bit forward, which gives him momentum to actually make the jump.
Okay.
So it's a bit of an advanced technique, but it is very powerful. Uriel uses it a lot to like do that and then do Beyblade against Axels. So like in that situation, they're using that and then Beyblade to punish that Rensen. Man, Bootflick has been on the point with dodging those command grabs. Like I think Bootflick like knows how to fight this. Citizen is just also knows how to fight this and like does it very safely and securely. Going for a simple combo there. Okay, interesting. Up, gets the bite. In. Are we seeing a burst here? Yeah, on the dust. Oh, he burst. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, the way the time stop works is that it's like a full screen hit. So you can actually block it. Or in this case, he bursts and is invincible through it. Sadly, because he was so high in the air, it took time to fall down and he got punished there. But that is actually quite interesting. I'm just gonna fill my glass of water and we are gonna do a conclusion here. So, we learned quite a few things today.
Yeah.
One of them is Axel is a very powerful character against characters with bad mobility, right? I think it's fair to say Nagoriyuki and Potemkin very heavily struggle against Axel, right?
Yeah, and it's very curious because Axel wasn't the most popular character when Guilty Gear Strive was released.
Mm,
Maybe the most popular ones was of course Soul, Potemkin, and maybe Chip. But
mm.
Axel was very in the shadows.
Yeah,
Was a sleepy character, and it
exactly.
was when professional players started to play Axel and show what you can do with him, that he gained more popularity. I mean that Axel requires also some strategy as well,
Mm.
but it's a very useful pick to slow heavy characters like
Yeah,
Naoriyuki or
Potemkin,
Potemkin.
Gold
Mhm.
Lewis as well.
And it's not also made of paper like
Mm.
Chip or Milia.
Yeah, like he is squishy, but not into that extreme. Um,
Mm.
and like the thing that really held Axel back in the start, right, is that in order to play Axel, you kind of need a good defense, right? You Axel doesn't have a DP. He just got a 5-frame button that is his 2K.
Mm.
So he can now like actually kind of punch out of stuff. You have to be very good at blocking and knowing how to get out of pressure from your opponent. Which
Mm.
that is hard in the first month of the game, right? Because it's just come out. So in a lot of competitive games, not only fighting games, but we see it a lot where aggressive strategies are quite favored in the start, right? Because you have a lot of people who haven't seen it yet, right? So or haven't learned how to defend against it. It's a lot at the start of a game. It's a lot easier to ask questions rather than answer them, right? And I think that is the reason it took a bit for Axel to come out. But I think we are at a point in the game where people know the matchups. People know kind of how to fight stuff. And I think that is what has allowed Axel to kind of shine. That and EU has a lot of Nagoriyukis. Nago is so popular in Europe. We also have
Yeah.
a surprising amount of Potemkins. And
Mm.
those two matchups are very favored for Axel. So I think that is also part of why he shines a lot.
I th- I think so, and also that stopping time is very
Yeah.
useful, even though you need to have some knowledge of the game
Mm.
and your strategy.
Yeah, so it actually in the like first month or so of the game, he couldn't do that. He had the time stop super, but he couldn't cancel into it from stuff. So very few. Barry Bones was the only one who used it because, of course, he was. I deliberately actually didn't learn anything from it because I felt like all the other uses of meter were just better. But then when you could go into the command grab or the full screen projectile Renson and cancel into it, that is when it started becoming very good and a big part of his toolkit. And giving him like full screen combos, right? That is so powerful. And I think that has really put him up there. That and the new air normal changes. Axel used to say a lot of air normals, and if he now gets counter hits of them, right? So it's able to go into combos off of that, and that has really like raised his stock, I think, in this patch.
And also, we have learned what happens when two heavy, slow characters fight each other, like Potemkin
Yeah,
and Nagoriyuki.
yeah. I think the like conclusion from the Potemkin Nago matchup is that unless the Nagoriyuki player really needs to get the read on the Potemkin player, really like needs to figure out their rhythm in order to keep them out, right? Or else they're just gonna slowly move forward until they're close. So you really need to figure out how to open them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then
And also, we got some knowledge about Mirror Nagoriyukis.
yeah, man, those are always so much fun to watch. It's like a goddamn samurai battle. It's it's always a joy, genuinely. But that has been all from us today. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Laura for coming on here and joining me.
Yay.
I put Twitter links and Twitch in the chat and will be in the description on the YouTube video when that is up. Thank you for coming by. It was a joy. You have a Twitter where you announce stuff where people can find you. You stream quite often on your Twitch, right?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch every night, mostly about 11 p.m. Fest.
Mm.
And I mostly play Guilty Gear, sometimes Mortal Kombat, and now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, I need to pick up that game. It looks so cool. I have wanted to play that for a good while, but I've just not gotten around to it. But yeah, you are all-round lovely person. Also has commentated on a bunch of the SaltyEU stuff, and we are glad to have you around. Thank you for joining me. All of my stuff, always. I enjoy this a lot more when I have a guest. You can find more about me at jakesend.com, because I am lazy and I only want to show one thing. JakeSend, go there for all your JakeSend related needs. That's it. From me and everyone here at the JakeSend Streaming and Emporium, thank you. Good evening. I love you. Take care. Bye bye. Mwah.